Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here this morning to share with you. Who would have believed it? I'm back. Thank you, Robert. Yeah. Okay, if anybody wants to know my story, they need to come and catch me maybe sometime in the next day or two. But I'm Sue, and wow, I have got so much to say that my clock's counting down, so I've got to get on with it. All right, it seems to me that there are two types of people. There are probably a lot more than two types, but just humor me for now. In the Lego world, at least, there are two types of people. There are those who get their box of Lego. They study the picture. In fact, here we go. I'll just get my designer bag out here, all the way from New World. Okay, so they study the picture and they carefully open the box and they take out all the instructions and the little cellophane bags, line them all up, and then they start to build the creation. And when they have finished this creation of Lego, they build it, they admire it, they put it on the shelf, and that's where it stays. Then it seems to me there is a second person, and that second person takes the box of Lego, does a quick scan of the picture, throws away the instructions, tips all the Lego out in a big pile, freewheels it, builds whatever they want to, adds all the pieces, bits and pieces, and voila, it's done. And then you know what the worst thing that happens afterwards? They smash it all down and put it in a box with gazillions of other bits of Lego. Okay, so this morning, if you are a person who builds Lego step by step with the instructions, leaving nothing out, not freewheeling, come and get this box of Lego. Go, 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 go. Okay, good on you. All right. Wow. I love that energy. Are you involved in children's ministry? Sign him up. Okay. So the second person is the person who, you don't need instructions? No, come on up then. Come and get the Lego. There you go. Excellent, well done. When we thought about starting a new faith community at Royal Oak in Auckland, it was like this huge box of Lego bricks that had been spewed out on the floor. And I don't know, this kind of affects my OCD a little bit. I can't stand the boxes of Lego all over the floor. Okay. If you've ever stood on a piece of Lego, you know about it. Okay, when my kids were growing up, if the Lego ended up on the floor, it went up the vacuum cleaner. That's right. So, you know, they tell me that actually there are special shoes that you can buy. They're called Lego shoes that you can, like slippers, and if you walk on the Lego, it doesn't hurt your feet. All right, just threw that in. Okay, so when we started Rock, and Messy Church is what I'm going to refer to, it was like this big box of Lego that was spewed all over the floor, and we said, okay, God, what do you want done with this? Where do you want us to start with this? And in my mind, I said, it'd be really cool, God, if we had like a Hillsong church. That'd be cool, worship and praise and teaching and prayed again, and God said, no, you're not going to get one of those kind of churches. You're going to get a church that meets the needs of our families, of our communities. That's what you're going to get. and it's going to be messy, and it's going to be challenging, and you are not going to get a set of instructions. So here we go. Buckle up. We're in for a ride. Okay, I have given you this morning a handout for you to fill in. And that kind of keeps you awake, hopefully. And you were also given a Lego block this morning as you came in. You knew that was me, didn't you? You knew it. As soon as you came in, you thought, this is Sue's Lego block. So I guess really that life would be so much easier if there was either Christians or non-Christians. If we were either in or out. If we were either kind of clean or messy. But it's actually not like that, is it? It's a merging of all of those things. It's where you live. It's where I live. And it's where our church lives. The majority of people that come to Rock, which is Royal Oak Core Plant or Royal Oak Church, the majority of the people that come to Royal Oak, they come through the CM doors, or they come via friends, or they come via invitation. They're often disenfranchised from church. They're often unaware that there is a church there that cares for them and loves them. They're not in recovery, so they don't go to recovery church. They don't go to the traditional church because you don't know what to do, or maybe nobody's invited them. So they come, and they come by the dozens. And in fact, last Christmas, which was Messy Christmas, I know it sounds so cool, doesn't it? We all get messy. Messy Christmas, we actually had to close the doors because we had so many people that came, we couldn't fit them all in. Now, I want to ask you, when was the last time that you had to close your doors because you couldn't fit everyone in? So, we are faced with this emerging city of ours in Auckland, and the challenges that affords us and also excites us, where school rolls are full, where houses are just expensive and things are difficult. And so, God, what do we do to bring your church to our community? And this morning, hopefully you will grasp something of our journey, which is challenging and messy over the last 18 months. And hopefully this morning, something that will ignite in you that might get you thinking strategically or differently, because I want to say something to you. It is not just the job of the children's leaders to bring families. It is not just the job of the core officer to bring families. It is not just the job of the program department to fix this. It is your job. It is my job to do this together. So, why do we do what we do? There it is. Get your pen out, start filling it in. So we do what we do because for us it is an event or an experience that is designed to be shared by parents and children to help them do family better. Okay, they're not going to come up behind me. So you have to have your wits about you this morning and be a fast rider. I'm going to say it again. It is an event or an experience that's designed to be shared by parents and children to help them do family better. Because what happens at home is more important than what happens at church. Do you do anything in your core in way of a family experience or connecting families or some event of any shape or form, whether it be weekly, quarterly, fortnightly, seasonally, If you do anything in your core around that, would you put your hand up? Great. Good. Thank you. We chose to do this new thing at Royal Oak weekly because we have a passion to see families connected every week. What we do on Tuesday night has to affect what happens on Wednesday morning and Thursday morning and Friday morning and every other morning that they get up to face the reality of their world. So what are you doing currently to partner with families? Do you have some sort of a strategy to partner with families? I know there are many different ways to partner with families. There are online apps, there are emails and take-homes and things that we give to families to connect them. But there is nothing greater than being in a room where you feel the pulse, the temperature of a room filled with encouragement and excitement and information and teaching and sharing. This is not a program we do, folks. This is church. But hang on a minute. Isn't that what we do every Sunday? Isn't that what we do on any given Sunday? Now, I'm not saying that the Sunday worship is bad, but sometimes it's too long. Sometimes it's the music's too loud. Sometimes the preaching is over the head of those families that come. And can I say that sometimes it is pitched at adults? We all know that our communities are growing, especially in Auckland. I live just way north of the bridge, in Upper Waiwera, in the beautiful valley, where we have 20 acres and we've restored a villa and we have animals. But just across the motorway, 10 minutes from the country where I live, in the countryside where I live, there I put in another 20-something thousand homes in there on the Hibiscus Coast. Now we can say that's really lovely, or we can say, how are we going to impact the people that move in to that area? And we know we need to do something about it, something to engage our families, and we need to get fresh ideas, and we know that we need to have that in our head. But you know what? We get busy, and then the idea just drifts. Yes, we need some wins. You know, yesterday, when Commissioner Janine spoke about the decline in our children's ministry, I went home and I wept. I cried. It's not good enough. It's not good enough to feel sorry for that either. We actually have to have a strategy around this to connect our families and our children. And that's not just my job. So I want to talk about some of our wins and what is a win. And I think the biggest win currently, and I hope I'm not going to embarrass her, is the biggest win that our territory has made just recently is to appoint Hannah Medland to the Territorial Children's Mission Director. And some of you are saying, she's young. She's, she's not my age, which is 60-ish. But you know what? You know what? She has passion. She has passion oozing out of her. She has an education background. She's a practitioner. And you know what? She's going to be here for a long time, so get used to it. And she is going to lead us forward. And I have the privilege of partnering with her to coach her and mentor her and set her up for success. That's such a win in our territory, is it not? Yes. So I want to talk about a win. And I want to talk briefly about this most fascinating company called Lego. And it all began in 1934, where the founder, Ole Christensen, took the first two letters of the Danish word Legot, meaning play well, Lego. And the Lego company has been a family company since that time. Lego is the most popular company that produces toys in history. It trumps beyond video games and Pokemon and all of the other toys that have ever been manufactured. But in 2003, Lego began to drift away from their wins. This once profitable company started to lose ground, big time. Their once mission statement of inspiring and developing the builders of this world of tomorrow was going down the hill. And if you would have a simple mission statement, it would be inspire and develop the builders of tomorrow. So they set about asking how they were going to claw that back, how they were going to get that back. How were they going to measure that? How were they going to know that they had done that? And I'm going to give you 6 wins of Lego. And so take your block. And this basic Lego block has 6 studs. And we're talking about 6 principles, 6 wins, and 6 values that we have at Rock. So, 6 wins to help us remember. The first one is imagination. How the ordinary becomes the extraordinary. Lego believes that playfulness is the ideal way that kids learn. So one of the values of their organization is imagination. It's great, isn't it, when you see a child discover something new or pretend something or imagine something. We kind of grow up quickly. We forget about that imagination. So the first value is imagination of Lego. It is to stoke the imagination of every child. The second value is creativity. The ability to come up with ideas that will be new and surprising and exciting and valuable. So the whole idea of creativity is built around this Lego brick. Do you know that the more Lego bricks you have, the more stuff you can build? That's deep, isn't it? It's deep. But it's true. The possibilities are endless. So Lego says if you take 2 of the 2x4 brick of the same color, you can have 60 different combinations. 60 different combinations. They also say that if you take 3 of the same color 2x4 bricks, you can have 1,009 different possible combinations. They say if you take 6 of a 2x4 Lego brick of the same color, get this, 950 million different combinations. I'm not a mathematician, but that's what they say. The third value of Lego is fun. Fun is not just the completion of the build, but the fun you have along the way. It also believes in helping kids to figure things out for themselves, to stimulate their mind. The fifth value is caring. Are we seeing some kind of similarities here? They care very, very deeply about kids and their environment, of developing and building and looking after their community and their society that they will inherit one day. They will be the builders of tomorrow. And the sixth value is quality. The sixth value is quality. Their motto is a great motto, that only the best is good enough. Only the best is good enough. You might be saying right now, well, thanks for the history lesson, Susan, but let's move on. And I want to tell you about this Lego company. And you want some more? Number 4. Okay, what have we done? Okay, imagination, creativity, fun. Number 4. Oh my gosh, number 4. Okay, number 4, learning. Learning, yes. Okay, so you know what? That Lego are actually saying that when they produced the Star Wars series and things like that, or at least some people are saying that when Lego produced the Star Wars series, that it was so prescriptive, the Lego box, that it didn't actually create too much learning and imagination. That you can only actually build one thing, and then once you build that one thing, that's it. So there are some people that say, you know, maybe it's better that we get back to the basic block. Okay. So you got number 4. Right, excellent. Moving on. Okay, so quality, only the best is good enough. You might be saying, okay, well, we deliver quality. We deliver the best. Do we? Well, let me tell you, in 2003, the Lego drifted away from what their values were, and they set out, not systematically, but it just happened, that they lost 35% of their market share, $300 million of their market share. And then they got together, when they realized that it was drifting, they got together a group of leaders and they started to revisit and revision. And they went back to their 6 principles that they knew they had drifted from. And they began to claw back, and now they are one of the most profitable companies in the world. Drift happens, like Pastor de Jong said yesterday. Drift happens. We start off with a good idea, but we don't keep on track, and then we drift. So, what does a win look like? What does a win look like for you? What does a win look like for us in your ministry, in your church? And if you don't decide what success looks like in your ministry, then you need to spend some time figuring it out. And if you don't decide what success looks like, you will have other people deciding what it looks like for you. You've probably had some unsolicited feedback from people about what they think you should be doing. You should be doing this. No, don't do that. You should be doing that. Maybe when you get home, you could get together with your team. And don't just leave it to the children's leader of the team, core officers, center directors, people that are in positions. Get together with your team and help predetermine your team to figure out what a win looks like. Because we need some wins. And we've got them. We just don't recognize them. So then you can evaluate your ministry based upon the wins. Some of you have been looking at new faith opportunities just recently, or maybe for some years. Some of you started some new faith opportunities, and it didn't work out, and so you're not going to do that again. Well, I'll tell you, you haven't got a choice. This is it. This is the deal. We have to do something. To do nothing is not an option. So, we have 6 basic ideas for a win, and I'm going to run through these because the time is moving on. The first one is meaningful. Meaningful. It should matter to parents. It should matter to children. It should matter to you. The ultimate win, of course, is to win families, children, young people, older people into the kingdom of God, to bring them into a personal relationship with Jesus as their forever friend. That's the ultimate win. But you know what? We need some incremental steps. We need some wins along the way. Because it would be great to say, last week I had 20 people saved in my setting. But the reality is, you probably didn't. It would be great to say we've had, 30 children come to faith last week. But the reality is the statistics are not telling us this. And I'll take any win, small, big, anything you throw at me. I think the second thing is that the win must be simple. want to tell you about a recent story, a fantastic story. 49 people came to faith, made commitments. 49 people made commitments. That is actually the response I thought I was going to get. I want to tell you that last weekend at our children's camp, 49 children made a commitment at children's camp. 49 children that'll go home and be light bearers and life changers in their homes. If that doesn't excite you, I don't know what does. But you know what? Sometimes we're a bit like, did some of you go like, well, it's only children? Or were you a bit disappointed it wasn't just 49 adults? I hope not. I hope not. I think the third thing is measurable. It has to go beyond your hunch. You have to measure these wins beyond your hunch. Like, what are we trying to measure? Are we trying to measure attendance or how many parents are engaged? I think the fifth thing is it needs to be immediate. I don't know. I'm a very impatient person. Bruce, thank you. Yes, he's putting his hand up because he knows I'm an impatient person. I want to see the kingdom of God now. In my generation, I want revival now. So, immediate. Wins are so simple. We can give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Oh, we did that really well. We accomplished that one thing. We can give them a thumbs up. They need to be clarifying, number 5. Wins help us to explain what's due before we do something. They help us to think about how we do it better next time. And the 6th basic idea for a win is possible. It's possible. Ideal perfectionist goals will only get us so far. Be careful with words like every and all. Be practical. Be possible. Be realistic. So, Rock is built on the following 6 principles. And you're going to get a little chance in just a few minutes to discuss this, and I'm going to run through really, really quickly. It is family-centered. It creates a constant shared experience for parents and children. Every week, there is nothing average. We have to stop thinking average and think excellence. Okay, I'll explain that. When you pick up the paper to go and watch a movie, do you go, we'll just go to the average movie tonight? No, you want to go to a great movie, an excellent movie. When you go out to dinner, when you can finally afford it, you don't go through the, menus and things and go, oh, that looks like an average place to eat. We'll just eat there tonight. No, we want excellent places to eat. We want excellent movies to watch. We want to present an excellent thing for our children and families. Okay, the second thing that we do, it is child-focused. It is not talked down to. But it targets everyday issues in a child's world like friendships and connection. When you think that children are just attention-seeking, you know what? They are connection-seeking. They are connection-seeking. It is value-based. It emphasizes specific values that encourage children and parents to develop faith and character, like courage and prayer and thankfulness and honor and faith. And it is intentionally creative. It uses innovation and creative tools to communicate timeless truths. Messy Church is based on the arts. We don't just get them to cut out something. They go home with significant art pieces that remind them of the splendor and the glory of God. and that everyone, parents and children together, can work together to create something. And so we get messy in conversations, and we get messy with our hands, and we get messy in the lives of people. Because I don't know about you, I'm pretty messy. And our people around us are too. Fifth, it is user-friendly. It creates a non-threatening environment for families to invite friends. And the sixth thing is, it is volunteer-fueled. And it runs on teams of volunteers. We have no rosters, because you know what happens when you put people on a roster? They just turn up for that roster. No rosters, everybody's in. Setting tables. We have tablecloths. We teach our families that in our family meal, we eat together with a knife and fork at a table discussing things of God. We have a beautiful environment because this is what our families deserve. And we have no rosters, and that's really cool. So I want you to turn to the person next door to you, because we have a minute, and say, where to from here? Where to from here? Does your church need new families? Do they need new families? Because if you say, well, it's not my problem, you're saying, we don't need new lifeblood. What is it that you can be involved in as a participant, not just a spectator? These are good questions to ask yourself and your team. Don't go home from here and say, hey, that's great, I got a piece of Lego, but I don't know what she's talking about. Go home and do some soul searching with your teams about how you can connect families to your church, to your faith community. Okay, I might be finished, but I'm not done.